You're to the Lowdown Show.
The house that AJ Styles built.
Your Raw and Smackdown live review and discussion show.
Drink it in, man.
Right here on the No Holds Barred Network.
You're looking at the real deal now. Gonna kick your sorry ass out on the street. What you got? You used to think you owned the street. Well, pack your bags and your ass is dead meat. Victory sweet. Bring it on. Here's your receipt. Bring it on. What you gonna do about it? Bring it on. Is that what you got? Bring it on. And what you gonna do about it? Bring it on. Gonna kick your sorry ass, so what you gonna do? You're looking at the real deal now. Gonna kick your sorry ass out on the street. Bring it on. What you gonna do about it? Bring it on. Is that what you got? Bring it on. And what you gonna do about it? Bring it on. Gonna kick your sorry
My mic was off through the whole intro, so let's try this again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, all in all my corporate cells out there. Welcome to episode 8 of the newly revamped Lowdown Show, your Raw and Smackdown live review and discussion show, right here on the No Holds Barred Network, your source for all WWE, NXT, and UK wrestling coverage. You can listen to us live every Thursday night right here on Spreaker. You can download the free app on all Apple and Android devices, and we're also available on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud, so you can check us out wherever it's convenient for you to listen to us. And for all network updates, please follow us on Twitter at NHB Network, and as well follow the show itself at The Lowdown Show. And as always, botching, as I usually tend to do on this show, I am your host of The Lowdown Show. I guess you can call me the B-plus host, Mr. Corporate himself, Corporate Cappy. You can follow me on Twitter at Cappy Collects. And I'm joined by my two co-hosts as always. We can say
Nancy 1 and 2 coming live.
Yep, Negative Nancy 1, aka the main roster Maharaja, Brian at Heel Turn 21. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, what's up, guys? If I can have just a quick moment, before we start the show, Kyle, just to let you know, the views and expressions of a Mr. Tyler Jones are solely his. I think NXT is great. Gargano is better than The Rock. Ciampa, the next Stone Cold, and Tyler, they're NXT, baby, NXT.
And last but not least, he is the one and only, the natural born heel, and Cornette Jr. himself at Tyler Jones _22.
Coming from the guy who literally 2 minutes ago just said he doesn't even watch NXT when we were offline.
What a kick.
What a mark.
I expect nothing else to open the show from Tyler Jones. It's the way I like it. That's the way that you viewers like it. You love Tyler the way he is, don't you?
I'm sure they don't, but I'm really not that worried about it.
And I promised I'd be in the live chat tonight. Shout out to our boy at Trey Patterson on Twitter. Said he wanted to talk to me in the chat tonight. So, anyways.
He's ready to shut the fuck up. Why does he need to talk? He needs to talk to somebody all the time. What does he want, his handheld too? He's got a dog, a girlfriend? Jesus.
Yeah, it's your boy at Trey Patterson on Twitter. Anyway, so the show isn't about at Trey Patterson on Twitter. The show is about Raw and Smackdown from this week.
If it was, I'd quit.
Anyways, so
And it's like we should make it about that guy next week, please.
does anybody have any quick reactions or thoughts on Crown Jewel?
You can play the crickets if you want.
Will do. Give me 1 second.
I mean, are the crickets done? Are they gone?
Yeah, they're done now.
The one thing I will give them is the actual production of the show was really good. The pyro, the setup, everything was nice. I mean, they went kind of pyro crazy to begin with.
Yeah, it's like more than WrestleMania. I was like, what?
But it looked, to me, the production looked better than the last 5 Manias.
That's what I mean. Like, they're kind of like making WrestleMania not be that memorable or special anymore with all these crazy shows they're doing at Saudi Arabia and Australia.
Yeah, the show was just weird, but I mean, the production, of course, like we've said before, it was pretty good.
Ty, what were your thoughts on what you saw from that?
My thoughts are probably not warranted on this, just because I was fucking pissed.
Oh yeah, your boy Braun.
Oh yeah. Tyler's pissed. What's new? Great.
Fucking how the fuck? And somebody can tell me until they're blue in the face, Trey, that fucking Braun didn't look weak in that. I don't care how many goddamn F5s he took. The motherfucker.
He didn't get 1 ounce of
got
offense
beat
in at all.
2 minutes.
And he literally did not get one part of offense in the entire match.
He got the Hogan,
But
and then that was it.
apparently, from what I just read, literally while I was looking up wrestling history, a New York Post just posted up something about Braun is getting a lot of heat backstage for showing up late and leaving early, and
I thought you
being
weren't
a
allowed
wrestler.
to do that.
I thought the way it's always been to me, as soon as your shit's over with, you leave.
Well, apparently in Dolph Ziggler's new contract, he was allowed to like go and arrive as he pleased. So I thought that it was like mandatory for them to have to stay for the whole show, unless your name's like Brock Lesnar.
I mean, I think that's pretty stupid. Why would they have to stay for the whole show if they got nothing else to do with it?
Well, I think it's the same reason like the guys that don't show up on TV, or the guys that aren't on TV, still have to show up. I guess it's one of those like you never know type of situations.
Yes.
But either way, I've also heard that Braun is working with 2 blown out knees, so I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, his knees are toast, too.
Yeah, that explains why he looks like an idiot running. Like his whole like upper half doesn't move when he runs, and his knees are just stiff as hell.
Who can run better, Braun with 2 blown out knees or Great Khali?
Braun with 2 blown out knees.
So, anyways, yeah, I thought
Sorry,
Crown
Great
Jewel.
Khali.
I thought Crown Jewel was pretty piss poor, to be honest. I thought it was just...
Glorified live event once again.
Yep, and
Shit the bed once
Shane
again.
McMahon is now the best in the world.
Stupid. And anybody that thinks the CM Punk's coming back, you're fucking stupid too.
I think it's a little bit wishful thinking, that's for sure. But that's obviously the rumors have started with this whole best in the world thing of Shane defending that
They
that
literally did it
championship.
just to troll you guys, and it worked.
So, and now we'll move on. I guess, Brian, you want to say something about that quick?
No, just really quick. The main event, you can just tell HBK and Triple H were like, dude, we're so done with this. Especially HBK. After the match, he just looked done.
Well, it's
He
because he
just-
had to wrestle the whole match by himself, basically.
He just looked
Triple H.
weird. I can't
Well,
handle
I know he looked weird, but
fucking bald Shawn Michaels.
he did do more than he was supposed to do that night. That's for sure, because
Yeah.
Triple H like ripped his pec like 2 minutes into the match. I
And
mean,
Smashing his
What else
face
he gonna
into
do?
the floor outside. I was just like, oh my god, this guy. Like, thank you HBK for the memories, but please don't come back. And anybody that wants
stay on the
HBK
ranch
versus
and in the
Styles,
church.
anyone thinks HBK versus Styles is a good idea, just stop, please.
Terrible
You
idea.
just saw that match, so like you just saw Shawn Michaels
Well, everybody
wrestle.
bitches about the oldies coming back. Why would I want to see an old ass motherfucker against AJ Styles anyway?
Well, Styles is pretty old
he
too,
didn't
so.
look terrible, but it definitely. I mean, it's not what we're used to from Shawn Michaels. That's for sure. As far as his in-ring style and ability, which obviously he's not going to
No,
have
I mean-
that anymore.
The performance wasn't bad. It was what you would expect out of a 50-year-old, you know.
For almost 50-year-old guy.
Yeah, but he wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but he just looked tired after and just done. You know, you're like, you don't want to see him do that for us.
Like, I don't think he wanted to come back in the first place. I think he's said that clearly many a times that he doesn't really want to come back and wrestle again. But
Money talks.
Well, Shawn Michaels is also an attention whore, so I really don't believe him.
so we'll move on to Monday Night Raw. We had a couple interesting things as far as Survivor Series goes, and then a lot of just usual filler that we usually get. One thing I want to point out is we had that whole Kurt Angle versus Drew McIntyre match in the main event. Kurt Angle tapping to Drew McIntyre with the ankle lock. What did you guys think of that?
Go ahead.
No, I mean it was. I know people are gonna probably disagree with me or whatever, but Drew McIntyre should destroy Kurt Angle. You know, it's a
Yup.
guy in his prime against an old guy. It should have been a 3-minute match. You know,
That should have been the Braun Brock squash match.
exactly. You know, it's just if you want to go. I mean, yes, Kurt Angle is a great, and he shouldn't be losing, but he shouldn't be fighting Drew McIntyre either.
And Drew McIntyre's the next top guy. Like, he is
Exactly, yeah.
being branded as that. And now that Braun's being a douche backstage, apparently, and his knees are fucked, Drew McIntyre is it at this point. He is a glimmer of hope to take the reins. I hope to God they don't turn him babyface, but I guarantee you they will, because they fuck everything up.
But I've heard that they had to, or that he's getting a really big push coming into 2019. That's from the.
I'm
rumors I've
sure
been-
he is. I'm sure he is.
And he deserves
Yeah,
it.
he
I mean,
should.
the guy's beast.
He is.
I'm
You know
sure
who
now
else is a
that-
beast who isn't doing shit right now? Bobby Roode. You know who had great matches with Drew McIntyre? Bobby Roode.
You don't want you don't let me talk about Bobby Roode anymore, so I don't bring him up anymore.
Bobby Roode is the Saturday Night Main Event.
Stop it.
Thing talking about.
Stop it.
Look, man, I'm pissed because Rude and fucking Revival are basically fucking main event, and the club. They're all main eventers now. This is stupid. It's just
And didn't
stupid.
I think Bobby Roode just lost on Main Event too?
My
Beautiful.
God.
Exactly. You wonder why I don't want to rant about, because I love Bobby Roode and he can be so much better.
I know,
and
I do too, but
I don't want to just say the same shit every week about how he's being underutilized, because I'm just saying the same shit every week.
right.
So, I thought the McIntyre Angle match was pretty good. I actually liked McIntyre disrespecting Angle and making him tap with his own finisher. I don't think, has Kurt Angle ever tapped before? Like from what I can recall, I don't maybe once or twice, but rarely have I ever seen Kurt Angle tap.
Not that I can remember, but
Yeah, I don't
that's
remember.
not saying much.
Well, that wasn't your era, really. Anything else that sticks out to you guys that you want to bring up about Raw?
Raw.
I mean, did anything stick out to you that you wrote down that we can talk about? Because I sure as fuck don't remember much about it because it was not that good.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Baron Corbin came out and tried to set the stage for Raw's success.
Yeah, that was stupid. Yeah,
And then he had Alexa Bliss come out as the captain for the women's team, and Corporate Bliss looks unbelievable, but we don't have enough time for me to talk about that. But then
She did look really hot.
and then Braun just came out and started trying to run after Baron Corbin. He chased him everywhere backstage. Corbin finally got in the limo.
Otard chased him.
Yeah. Corbin finally got away and then booked that match between Angle and McIntyre. But I don't know. To me, there was no other redeeming qualities on this show, to be honest.
So hold on, question. What are they gonna do now? Is Angle gonna get a rematch on next week's Raw for this Team Raw captaincy or whatever?
I think he's going to end up having to beat Corbin. I think Corbin's finally not going to be able to run away from him maybe next week.
I mean,
or
I
the
think
week
so
after.
too. I just think it's fucking stupid booking.
And I guess that's another big thing. We had the Authors of Pain becoming the new Raw Tag Team Champions.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wasn't mad about that. It just was. I don't know. It was kind of lame.
Well, then they had that promo after Seth Rollins was asking him why, and he just wouldn't answer him.
Yeah, and then another thing is, why is Seth Rollins going 20 minutes or 15 minutes with the Authors of Pain?
Yeah, that shouldn't
The
happen.
Authors of Pain were one of those teams in NXT to me that weren't an NXT team because they couldn't really do an NXT style match. Anytime they do a long match, it kind of felt just dragged on.
Yeah, and I know you want to make Seth look strong. He's your IC champion, but these are two giant guys.
Yeah, they should
I mean,
kill him.
it made them look weak.
Even though they
Why
won
are
the
they-
titles.
Yeah, they won the titles, but they look like, why did it take you guys 20 minutes to beat one guy? That's half your size.
If you wanted to make Seth not look so weak and do that, make him wrestle 5 minutes, make him get the shit kicked out of him, then have him start making the comeback. Then you have Dean come out and start beating the fuck out of him. Or something.
It was
or
bad.
distract him to lose the belts, and then he beats the fuck out of it. I mean, like, you could have just done so much better.
Yeah, they could have
Come
done
on.
better, but I'm not mad at finally getting the tag belts.
I'm not
off
mad
of-
at AOP at
I
winning
mean,
the belt.
they finally did something on Monday Night Raw because they've been doing nothing besides squashing randos or not appearing on TV. So,
Yeah, and now
I'm
you can
sure
do
as hell
something with
still-
the belt.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying now you can do something with the belt. It's not just
Right.
tossed in the background.
maybe Revival gets a tag team title shot against them.
Sure,
or
yeah.
probably not. It'll probably be Lucha House Party because they beat Revival last week.
Or win it on main event.
Yeah, gross. And then I actually thought the Elias Dolph Ziggler match was actually not bad. Although
yeah.
I'm not liking Elias
Dolph's
face
good.
Elias, but I mean they kind of have to
No.
because he's getting cheered. The whole crowd taking over, basically forcing a babyface turn for Elias.
I'm starting to kind of notice too, like, I mean, I really do. I like Elias and I like the character. It's a good thing when he's a heel. But the more thing I'm starting to notice is, it's like, okay, man, Dolph has a really, really great match with just about everybody. And Elias really didn't have that good of a match with Dolph. It was okay. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, it's starting to make me wonder, is Elias really, is he going to be that good? Is he going to be more than a mid-carder? Well, we all want him to be. But is he really? Is he really?
Yeah, I mean Ziggler did carry the match. I'll agree with you on that. As far as it becoming a decent match on a Monday Night Raw.
Right. I mean, it's just something to ponder. Because, I mean, I do like Elias, too. It's just, it's one of those things to me.
He, like you just said, Ziggler carried most of the match, and he did okay. I would say give him a couple more years. He's still kind of green. What is this?
But, I mean, he's
First,
also
second
been
year on
working
the-
for... Well, his first, second year on this roster, but he's been
Yeah.
working as a wrestler for, like, 10 years.
Yeah, but I'm like...
I mean, if you don't have it by now, you ain't going to have it.
The thing with Elias is it's all character. Character. So, we've talked about it before. The Rock wasn't the greatest rocker. Austin definitely wasn't the
No,
greatest
but he
worker.
was explosive and made things look good. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it. No, I get it. We'll see. All I can say with him is we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, would I like his matches to be a little bit better? Yes, but maybe his style was more of a like maybe he's having to adjust to being a face wrestler because you kind of do have to change your style
Yeah,
when you're a
that's
baby
certainly
face
possible.
because
We need to
maybe he
see more
worked better.
matches.
Like he worked a lot of matches as a heel, right? So when you turn into the babyface wrestler, you kind of have to change things up, and maybe he's still adjusting to that. But again, I can't really remember like a classic Elias match, so
No, that's
I'm
what I'm
not-
saying too. Like, even if you look back at NXT, I mean, he's just never really.
he never really
He's
got a
never
shot
really
on
had a-
NXT.
Well, no, but I don't know. I feel like he's faced some pretty good competition and has never just had a good, great match. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll give it time. If I can back up really quick
Yep.
to the first match of Raw, the Riot Squad, Sasha Banks, Bailey, and Natalia match. Just two things I kind of want to bring up here. Number one, I was getting my clothes ready for work, just hanging out with my daughter, watching it, and all of a sudden, the match just ends, and my kid's like, "Nobody won," and I'm like, "No, maybe we missed it. I don't, maybe." And I go back and I rewind it. I'm like, "Oh shit, nobody won." Oh, okay, random. And then number two is, we just had this whole women's evolution pay-per-view, and we want the women to be treated equal, and that's great and all. But when have you ever seen a match be called off because a male wrestler starts crying outside?
By
You know what I mean?
by
Like,
somebody breaking
Breaking
sunglasses.
glasses. It's like, dude, stop. If you're gonna treat them like the same as the guys, if you would have broken my dad's glasses outside, I would have went out there and whipped your ass, right?
Yep.
Made Natalia
No,
look so weak. I agree with that.
It's like, dude, you're making the whole division look weak. Oh, we gotta stop the match because she's crying. Just
It was
it's like,
it was a
come on.
really bad way to end a match, and a match that we've seen fucking 100 times, including Evolution pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Why do we continue to get these 6-woman tags with the same people every week? If you don't have anything for them, just keep them off the show. But I understand that they have to fill 3 hours. But they need to make this stuff more appealing. Like, why do we care about this feud for a month and a half, or however long it's been going on for? Why do we care about this 6-woman tag?
Exactly. And like, I know this match meant nothing, and who really cares? But that was just my biggest concern or my biggest complaint. It's like, dude, like, why? We're stopping the match because she's crying. Yeah, way to go. Way to go, women's evolution.
So the only thing that I can say is maybe this is going to bring out a more intense side of Natty, and she's going to have a feud with Ruby Riott. But again, where's that going to lead to? Is it going to lead to a future title opportunity? No, because Nia Jax won a future title opportunity in that women's battle royal.
And over some fucking glasses, like, maybe if it would have been like the week he died, rest in peace. But hey, my dad gave me these glasses before he passed away, and kind of built something for the last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, it's like what it just happened out of nowhere. Like, where did this come from?
All of a sudden she has these fucking glasses. Like, fuck your glasses. I don't give who cares,
Yeah, like she didn't come out with them the first week. What does it matter now to come out with them? Would she just find them in a box somewhere? I don't know.
Yeah, and she probably had a box of fucking 700 of them. Who really cares?
And the only other thing I want to bring up about Raw, because that was really bad, was I don't know what you guys thought about the whole Nia Jax heel turn and aligning herself with Tamina.
Oh, the Twin Towers.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with fucking doing another Wild Samoans.
Dude, that's exactly what I thought.
I mean, I could see Nia using Tamina as their bodyguard, even though they're both huge. Like, they don't really need bodyguards, but it kind of makes sense for a dominant team.
Nia is huge, but very weak-minded, as we've seen in other feuds.
Yeah, so maybe somebody like Tamina can kind of toughen her up mentally. You know what I mean? Maybe that could work, and it could give Tamina a reason to be on the main roster. Because realistically, what has she done in the past 5 or 6 years? Nothing. So if this leads to something good for Tamina, I'm not sure. But aligning her with Nia Jax, I don't hate it. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with it. But I assume it's gonna try to help or make Ronda look that much stronger by defeating Nia with Tamina's help. That's the way I see this going.
You don't think they're setting up for the women's tag? They can be the dominant tag team. I don't know, maybe.
No, because they're gonna lose to they're gonna lose to the Boston Hug Connection.
Ew.
I hate that too. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's good. It's horrific. It's terrible.
We can get Sasha
Connection.
We can get Sasha Banks crying again.
All right, that's it. So we're gonna move on to SmackDown. And SmackDown this week, we got announced the 2 co-captains of the Team SmackDown men's team. Daniel Bryan and The Miz will have to put their differences aside and co-captain this Survivor Series team.
Yeah, because that's realistic. We're having work together as fucking co-leaders.
I mean, Bischoff and Stone Cold hated each other, and they had to be like co-GMs for a little while.
That was kind of stupid too.
But it makes for funny conflicts between the 2 co-GMs. You know what I mean, or co-captains in this case.
There shouldn't be funny conflicts between 2 guys who hate each other.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't like beat the shit out of each other, or at least Bryan didn't go after Miz every time he got close to him because of the way this feud has gone. I could see if it was like down the road, like a year or 2 from now, where they had time to like cool off. But like the feud just ended, so I kind of see what you're saying.
I at least want to acknowledge the effort of them trying to make a storyline out of putting together their Survivor Series team, because Raw just kind of threw it out there. They're like, this is a team. Well, half the team. At least SmackDown, the whole show was about them trying to figure out who the team was, as opposed to just kind of, picking your dodgeball team.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'll get into in my how to book. But again, I feel like we'd have enough qualifying matches, not even for this in general. Like, you see tournaments and all this stuff, you never see these qualifying matches to get into the tournament. They just announce the guys that are going to be in it. Or women. They just kind of just hand people opportunities instead of building the tournament or whatever it is, qualifying matches over a period of time, and actually getting you invested in every week for these different qualifying matches.
Yeah, like going back to Raw really quick, like Baron Corbin's whole beef with Strowman is that he wants him to learn respect, etc., but he wants him on his team.
Yeah, and he just announced the team. Nobody had to earn anything on the team.
It just doesn't make any sense.
So I assume is Angle going to be the only one that has to earn a spot? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, just get John Cena, the hottest free agent around.
And then we had Daniel Bryan and Miz talking about who they wanted on their team, and they said that they would both pick somebody, and those two people would have a match and determine who would get a spot on the team. And Daniel Bryan chose Jeff Hardy, while Miz chose Samoa Joe. And they had a match. Ty, what do you think of the Samoa Joe Jeff Hardy match?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. I mean, I love Jeff Hardy and I love Joe, and they had a good little show in there. It wasn't anything flashy. I don't think they really put in their, not to say they didn't put in their best effort, but I don't think it was meant to be a barn burner of a match. It was meant to be a qualifying match. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
I
give them
appreciated
props
it
for
what it was
actually
worth.
having a qualifying match, like
Yeah,
Raw.
no, I dug it.
What did you think afterwards? The Bryan and Joe.
No, I love it too, and I actually like the whole Daniel Bryan, going off and beating the shit out of just everybody. That's the kind of conflict I'm okay with. Not funny conflict.
What about R-Truth, man? He's got some good comedic relief.
You can have comedic relief and not be stupid.
I'm just mad we didn't get a dance break.
Oh my
Of
god.
course you are.
We also had Rey Mysterio versus Andrade Cien Almas, which I thought was a pretty good match. Rey Mysterio got the win here. I don't know what they're doing with Almas, but he's been seeming to lose a lot lately. Don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, he's still pretty young. He's just I think he's just there it's just to put him up, to get him some shit and to get his green rubbed off of him and everything and put him with Ray. I mean, it's good. Got to put Ray over. It's basically like saying, hey, I'm still the master of this lose your shit. So,
Yeah. I'll let you talk about... well, actually, first I'll talk about the promo. I actually thought Becky Lynch's promo was actually very well done. Her response to Ronda Rousey, I thought it was really good. She was talking about how she wasn't meant to be the talk of the industry, this and that. She wasn't the chosen one. She worked her whole, career to get to where she is, scratched and clawed to get her way here. She wasn't handed anything or handed the title shot. I thought it was a good promo by Becky, but again, she's supposed to be the heel, but she was kind of getting cheered as far as this feud goes.
you know what? Again, I don't give a shit how good of a promo you can cut if you're not going to make it believable. Because after fucking Evolution, they were sitting there hugging each other and clapping their belts together and ha 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 ha.
In
We're
the
having
middle
so
of the
much
fucking stage.
fun. Yeah, in the middle of the fucking stage. And now, after this, a month later, we're gonna have Survivor Series where we're gonna have to beat the shit out of each other. But you know what? Ha 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 ha! It's so funny now.
Well, maybe Becky changed her mind. I don't know.
Well, that aside, I do totally agree with Ty. But the one thing I can give Becky Lynch, not just about this promo, but the last couple weeks regarding Ronda Rousey, is she's gone about it differently. Every Rousey versus whoever match has been, well, I'm gonna fight you, Rousey, and I respect you. I respect the woman you are, etc., etc. Becky Lynch is like, nah, fuck you. I don't like you.
What?
You had everything handed to you. Blah 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 blah.
Nikki said the same shit.
Nikki didn't. Who the fuck cares about Nikki?
I don't, but just like nobody has. She doesn't. It's literally the same build-up she has for all of her matches.
Nikki still gave her the whole "I respect you," what you did for UFC. But Becky's the one
As
come
a
out and said,
backhanded compliment.
Becky's the one that's come out and said, "I've earned everything. You had everything handed to you." That to me has been the only thing I like about the promos with Becky. But I still can't get over the fact that they were standing in the middle of the fucking stage, being besties, and now they're supposed to hate each other.
They did that with Nikki Bella too backstage with the whole women's evolution thing, like with when they were first
That's
back.
because Nikki Bella thinks she's a part of this shit, and she's not.
Again, as far as this promo went, putting all that aside, I actually thought it was a well done promo. Yes, there's all that,
I mean, Becky could cut a promo. She's fucking good.
but again, she's getting cheered. So I don't know who's going to be cheered. Maybe I don't know if they're both going to be cheered, or I feel like Ronda might get booed in this match. That's the way that I'm seeing it.
I don't think either of them will get booed. It'll be a fucking cheer fest. It'll be a ha 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 fun day.
Well,
Ooh, it's gonna be a great day.
but it's
I
weird.
saw
But it's weird because Becky's a heel and Ronda's a face.
yeah,
but-
but fans don't see Becky as a heel, even though she's a fucking heel. Because fans are fucking stupid.
Well, technically, Stone Cold Steve Austin was a heel, as far as what he
No,
was, but
Stone
he
Cold
got
Steve
cheered.
Austin was an anti-face.
Yeah, which
Just
is
a
kind of,
little.
I mean, kind of what Becky is now. She's kind of doing that right now.
Right, and that's fine. But then if you're going to do that, you have to make her do babyface type storylines and act like a heel, which they're not doing. They're making her do heel storylines.
Just a little insider information, I guess, from LA where Survivor Series is being held. I know UFC is different than WWE, but every single time there was a UFC Ronda Rousey fight, in every single bar here in LA, everybody wanted to see Ronda get her ass kicked. Everybody, nobody likes her here. Everyone's like,
Well, towards
You
the
know-
end of her career, yeah.
no. I'm talking all the time. She was hot here for a minute, but I would say 70% of her career, everybody wanted her ass. Everyone wanted to see her get her ass kicked. At least here. So I don't know. Maybe the Survivor Series match, that UFC fans will head over and boo her there. But I think we're gonna be hearing a lot of boos for Ronda at the Staples Center.
That's just what I feel too, because Becky. It seems like whoever Becky would be facing right now would be getting booed. Trey also makes a good point that they were in Europe, so the cheers were extra loud. So, but again, Becky's been getting pretty much really good reaction anywhere she's been going lately since she did this heel turn, which has basically made her more of a baby face. But
Okay, wait a minute. They weren't. Yes, they were in Europe, but you got to specify they were in England. They hate Irish people.
well, apparently not.
Yeah, she got a pop. And I'm speaking of that. I don't know if you guys noticed. Did it sound like they were messing with the audio? Because it is a playback. It's
I mean,
not live.
they always do edit the
Of course they
audio
did. They
in the
always
taped
do.
shows. I
It
mean,
just sounded weird.
that's why I hated Smackdown back in the day before they went live, because they would just insert fake crowd noise all over the place, which was
Oh yeah,
horrible.
that was bad.
Which is why I loved it when they went live, because fucking SmackDown was basically unbearable at that point. But anyways, after the Becky heel promo, Ty, I'll let you talk about this since your girl came out afterwards.
Oh yeah, Nikki made her debut. I was fucking jacked.
She comes out.
I mean,
"Let's
yeah, she got
play."
squashed, but I wasn't surprised about that. It was the champion, but I mean, still, she got on TV and she's up on the main roster, so I'm happy.
I don't know. It was Nikki getting you a little turned on there? I'll play with you, Becky. Let's play, Becky.
Dude, I love Nikki. I would do bad things. To
I bet
her.
she would too. She's fucking psychotic.
I would hope so.
But again, Nikki Cross loses to Becky, but I mean that was to be expected. I think it was just getting
Yeah.
Nikki Cross exposure.
Hell, man, we had a sanity sighting. I was jacked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I marked out when Cross came out, but I was just like, she's gonna come out to lose. The only thing I wish they would have done is done the whole pass out gimmick instead of her tapping. That way, at least you
Yes,
kind of save
yep.
save face on both ends.
Plus, she's done it before in NXT. It makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
Well, the entire Sanity crew's been like they lost in their first match too, so I guess they just want Sanity to lose their first matches.
I think they just literally want all my favorite fucking things to just die. Which, why shouldn't it just go along with the rest of my life? So,
I was about
Oh,
to say, this is the
positive-
only time I've heard Ty be happy in every single podcast.
I know, right?
yeah.
And then we had the New Day and Usos have a match to determine who's going to be the team captain for the SmackDown team. And Usos won, and they announced that New Day would be a part of the team, and they shook hands and whatever. We've
So
seen
wait,
that match 100
Is
times.
it a tag team leader?
Yeah.
So
I
it's
like
going
how
to be
they-
a battle or a Survivor Series tag team thing?
Yeah. The Usos named
That's
New
a
Day as
lot
their
of
first
guys.
pick for the team, and both teams shook hands.
That's
I like
a
how
lot
they-
of guys.
I like how they didn't even announce that tag match was happening. They gave us the match, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so they're gonna be the leaders of the tag team match." We're like, "Wait, when the fuck did they announce the tag team match?" Okay, fine.
But again, Usos and New Day for the 100th time, but they kind of said that at the end. They said, we've been going at it with each other for a long time. So they
if it's
respect
5
each
on
other.
5, is that gonna be 20 wrestlers?
That's like fucking, yeah. Well, more, because damn New Day's got 3 people. I'm sure they'll take Sanity, 3 people.
I mean, is there even enough? Who do you pick?
I mean, I
The
could
bar.
lay out 5 teams from each division or each thing to write down for you.
Who?
Okay, Raw, you got fuck.
Thank you.
But-
So anyway,
Is the bar over there?
No, they're on SmackDown. You're
You're on
cut.
SmackDown, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, you just you
Well,
you
chill
lost
out.
your
I
chance
can't
there.
remember
You
if they were
botched.
still on Raw.
You
I mean,
botched.
okay,
Tom.
I named a team still.
You
They're on
named
the
the
other
team on a
roster.
wrong show.
Yeah, you just said you
Irrelevant.
can do it off the bat.
We said the
And-
SmackDown team.
That's irrelevant. I didn't say. I said I can name the teams for both rosters off the bat. I just asking if Bar was still on Raw or not. I could not remember if they were on
My
Raw or
point
not.
is, like, I mean, SmackDown seems to have the more dominant tag team division because Raw has
Hell yeah.
who? AOP, but they're not even in the match because they're in the title
AOP,
match.
Rude, and whatever fucking Dick Nuts is.
Gable.
Gable,
Well, AOP's in the title match. so-
Revival. Are they? I don't. They haven't announced that they're doing that, have they?
Yeah, they have. It's AOP versus the Bar.
That's weird. All right.
So you're gonna have.
Yeah, that's even less teams now. It makes zero.
The club.
sense. I didn't know they were
That's what-
doing that.
The
I
club.
mean, yeah, you could do it. You could have the club, Revival, Gable and Brood. You could.
That's why they brought up the fucking Lucha Party.
Oh,
people.
Lucha
yeah,
House
Lucha
Party.
House Party, and what's their the Rhino and fucking
Sanity,
Heath Slater.
technically.
Oh, shit, the B team. There we go.
Oh
The B
my
team.
God. Yeah, because they beat Revival, so they're credible instantly.
The Till in the chat, the Colognes. I guess they can
Oh
make
yeah,
that return.
they
Yeah,
make
they
they,
could
they
do
make
that.
a return every couple months, and we forget about
Yeah.
them. And then I guess we'll move on to Paige. Just named the SmackDown Women's team again. Didn't even have to qualify. The men had to qualify on SmackDown, but the women didn't.
Women's Evolution.
Yep. So Carmella, Naomi, Sonya Deville, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair were named, and then Mandy Rose came out and tried to say that why Deville was chosen over her. I don't care. Like literally,
All I have to say is Mandy Rose is she's the hottest thing on the roster.
but
How
again,
dare you.
why? Oh yeah, Carmella again.
Oh my
But-
God, Carmella.
But I don't care. Why are we not getting qualifying matches for the women? Why aren't we getting interesting things for this? Why aren't we getting feuds based off of this or grudge matches going on? Like Sonya versus Mandy, which kind of breaks up my how to book. But again, you could have had Mandy versus Sonya fighting for the last spot or something like that. That would have been interesting. But again, they just decided to choose the team. It's my gripe about these team matches. They never have people, or they never keep it consistent. Either they have to qualify or they don't have to qualify. It's like, why doesn't everybody just have to qualify?
Well, Survivor Series used to be one of the big 5 pay-per-views back in the day, and
Still considered a
if
big
it-
4 pay-per-view.
and it's like they're rushing everything in this 2-week period. They used to have a 6-month build to Survivor Series. It used to be freaking Team Hulkamaniacs versus Team Ultimate Warriors, Team Austin, Team Rock. Like, what happened? They're literally it's a 2-week build.
That's the thing with all these pay-per-views and special shows they're doing. They don't even give these feuds enough time to breathe for these big pay-per-views because it's just they have to rush them now. Although in the last couple months they've been trying to build like 4 shows at one time, which has been a complete clusterfuck.
Yeah,
It almost feels like they want to finish things at every pay-per-view, and it's like, man,
Yeah.
you can use a pay-per-view as a stepping stone. It doesn't have to be.
Like
doesn't
why
have to be a
can't
finish.
why can't something from Survivor Series lead to Royal Rumble? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
why
exactly.
It used to,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, what we've gotten away from that. It's like every pay-per-view has to have something.
and they
Gotta be something.
they
I have
thought
something.
they could fall back on the one time a year SmackDown versus Raw. It's like, you're having the Mixed Match Challenge tonight. That's Raw versus SmackDown. Money in the Bank. It's like
Yeah, they can't. This shit doesn't fly anymore. I don't know who they're trying to fool, but I remember the first year. Remember when they invaded each other's shows the first year? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was cool. I think, and then didn't last year even New Day showed up on Raw through the crowd,
And then the
stuff? At
Shield
least
showed up on SmackDown, I think.
Yeah, that was at least they were trying. It was cool. This year it's just we're gonna fight. Okay.
No
And
conflicts.
there's no stakes. There's no Raw gets this guy, SmackDown gets this guy if they win. Nothing.
or if somebody's job's on the line if they lose this match or something, you know.
Yeah, there's nothing.
like Corbin's. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe, there's still hope with that. I don't know what they're gonna do with him and Angle, but I'm not I'm not too hopeful about it. But we'll see. I give them credit that it's not finished yet, but I can only imagine it's not gonna be great. But they could do something along that line about Corbin and Angle, and I thought they were gonna do a whole Team Corbin versus Team Angle thing when this thing first started, but obviously that didn't work.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's Survivor Series has turned into a Who Cares pay-per-view.
And it's sad because it should be one of your big four pay-per-views. They could do a lot of interesting stuff with it, but they choose to just kind of go along with this stuff that's not very exciting.
And we don't even have to do these champions versus champion matches. You know, that was what Clash of Champions was for.
Yeah, well, not the WWE version. It was always just every title was defended. But right. I know you're talking about the old Clash of Champions. But so yeah, that was Raw and SmackDown in a nutshell for you. So what we're gonna do next on the show. Actually, before we get into anything else, I'm going to give a shout-out to our sponsor, ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. They specialize in WWE and MMA apparel with over 10,000 products in stock, from T-shirts to sweaters to muscle shirts, and apparently they're going to be coming out with Christmas sweaters. Don't know how that's going to look, but you're not going to want to miss checking out this website. So go check them out, ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com, and as a special added bonus, use the code NOHOLDS at checkout, and you will save 10% on your order. So go check out the official sponsor of the No Holds Barred Network, ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. So for the next part of the show, we're going to get into This Week in Wrestling History. Then we're going to end off with How to Book, and that's going to be it for the show because How to Book is going to take a long time as far as because we've had this. We're going to be booking from basically Crown Jewel Evolution up until Survivor Series. So, but before we get to that, it's time for This Week in Wrestling History. And for This Week in Wrestling History, the one and only Tyler Jones. Take it away.
Well, we got another short class this week, just because I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I completely forgot until about 15 minutes ago that I even had to do this. I thought that we were just doing the booking thing. I thought, but then I remembered. But I got it. We got some shit, and but it's okay since the booking's gonna take forever. Then this will be quick. So November 7th, 1975. Nick Bockwinkel defeats Vern Gagne to win the AWA heavyweight belt, which ended Vern Gagne's 2,625-day reign. 7 years he reigned the AWA.
Vern Gagne had a 7-year run? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No.
Okay, then.
And then Nick Bockwinkel basically took it and had a 4.5-year run right after that. So title change. See, I like that, though. We don't have a damn title change every 3 months.
What do you mean? AJ Styles has been the champion for over a year.
I'm not just... Okay, yeah, that's great.
Because it's the house that AJ Styles built. Anyways, go ahead.
Don't forget Lesnar's ring.
Shut up.
But I don't think that they're going to let people reign for years and fight for years and do, you know what I mean? That's
God. Not when you have weekly television. Can't really do that. I mean, I will defend them in that sense because that didn't happen back in the day.
I get it. Right. 2005. This is actually, it's cool, but it's sad at the same time. 2005, November 7th. It was Eddie's last TV match versus Ken Kennedy.
I remember that match. I remember Eddie threw the chair at Mr. Kennedy, and he just dropped and made it seem like Mr. Kennedy hit him in the head with the chair. Ken Kennedy was just like, what the hell? I didn't do anything. The ref looked at him and started... It was great. I remember that match vividly. It was a good match. You know, it was a good way for Eddie to end his career, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, a good way, Eddie to being the funny, lighthearted guy, basically. He's all about that, so I thought it was good. It was, like I said, it was sad, but it was also kind of cool. November 9th, 1997. Brandon, or Byron, do you know what that day was?
I'm assuming it was Rusev Day.
No. You guys
Then
don't
no.
know this. You are not really wrestling fans.
Okay, what was it again? Go ahead.
1997, November 9th. It was one of the
November.
biggest events in wrestling history.
November. So it's gonna be Survivor Series still.
You are correct.
Okay.
Brandon, it happened in your country.
The screw job.
That's screw
Yes. Yep. It happened literally, what is today? The night? Is today the night? No,
8th.
tomorrow. So tomorrow will be an anniversary of the Montreal Screwjob.
Which turned into the greatest heel character of all time, Vince McMahon.
Which he initially did not start out to be. He was literally trying to look like the babyface, and it turned on him because everybody saw through him.
And then Bret Hart went at WCW and didn't give a fuck anymore.
Yup.
I thought it was going to be like when Vince Russo started the Monday Night Wars. I was going to say something really stupid, but I couldn't think of anything.
Russo never started the wars, so let's get
No,
that
I was
right.
thinking of something like
Watch
really
your mouth.
ridiculous and stupid that you were
He
gonna...
ended the wars because he ran WCW into the fucking ground. So yeah, I mean, technically he was a part of it.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah, I didn't see Jim
move
Cornette
on.
running the company.
Cornette wouldn't have ran it because he fucking knows he wouldn't have been able to do it.
Anyways, move on.
November 10th, 1960, Freddie Blassie wins his 16th Georgia heavyweight title, which actually that was the NWA at the time. It was just in Georgia in the 60s. But Freddie Blassie, before he was obviously the manager and such, won 16 of them damn belts.
I feel like that does never get mentioned. He just gets remembered
No.
as a great manager.
And then the last thing, November 11th, 1998, Dudleys win their 5th ECW titles, beating Tanaka and Balls Mahoney.
Oh my god. Tatanka?
No, Tanaka.
Tanaka.
Oh. Tanaka. You mean the pitcher? For the Yankees? No? Okay. So, whoever Tanaka is, and Balls Mahoney. Wow. It's a formidable team right there.
Yeah,
Balls
I know,
Mahoney
right?
was-
I mean,
Balls Mahoney
Mahoney's
was
got
a
great
shit.
name, but
He was awesome in ECW.
Wait,
He
you mean
was
WWE's
cool.
version when he had like a thing with Kelly Kelly? No. But yes, the Dudleys
and it was
are
and it
awesome.
was Masato Tanaka, by the way.
Okay. But yes,
Yeah, Keith
we've spoken on the show about the Dudleys, the most decorated tag team of all time, for sure. You said that
will
was
end
the
the
last...
class. No homework this week. I'm letting you off light.
Wow.
So,
You give it
enjoy how to book.
enjoy how to book, because this is what Ty's been waiting for a while. He's been wanting you guys to drink this in for a couple weeks now.
Well, I didn't know that we were doing it all the way till Survivor Series because I thought we were going to have another how to book segment before
Well,
then.
we
but
can.
you're-
If you don't have enough, then we can...
Right. Well, like I said, I thought we were doing it last week, and so it kind of threw me off. So I'm just kind of thrown off. But I mean, I can make shit up on the fly, and it'll be better than whatever Byron comes up with. So I'm not really that worried about it.
Again, I was going to plan on doing a second one, but Survivor Series is in 2 weeks, so we're not going to do one next week.
Right. Like I said, the timing threw me off.
Well,
So
I messed up
might-
because I thought we were going to do it the week before, but Crown Jewel didn't take place before our last show, so that was on me. This one's on me.
It's on me, dog.
This one's on me. My bad. So, yeah, I got an intro music for How to Book now. So, here it is with How to Book. Yes, high hopes. We have high hopes on this show with this segment.
I love that song.
I know. We have high hopes for this How to Book segment, which is why we do it. So, who wants to take the lead on How to Book? Byron or Corey Graves? Which one of you guys want to take the lead?
I think it should be you if you're going to fucking call me Corey Graves.
Michael Cole can't go first.
Michael Cole can totally go
Anyways,
first.
I'm really interested to hear Brian's Vince Russo-esque booking, and Brian said
No.
Brian
I'm
had some
going-
great booking. No. Brian had some great booking last week, so he's got to start off hot again this week. So,
You know,
Brian, please kick us off with your how to book.
I didn't go full Vince Russo this week. I wanted to take Survivor Series booking serious since I'm gonna be there, so I might as well make it entertaining for myself. So I'm gonna start off with the IC title. So give me 1 second. Let me pull up my notes here. I see I even wrote notes down, guys.
Atta boy. See, you're
There
getting
we go.
better. You get slowly
All
but
right.
surely. It only took you three of these segments to get better.
Exactly. I mean, here we go. So we're gonna have Rollins come out to the ring with one tag team belt instead of both tag team belts, and his IC belt. Coming down to the ring, gets a mic, starts apologizing to the fans about losing in the Best of the World tournament and how he let them down and let himself down. So he says, you know what? I'm gonna make it up to the fans. I'm gonna make up the Best in the World loss by defending the tag team titles by himself, since Dean is nowhere to be found. So I'd still have AOP answering the challenge and just start off by destroying Seth. Like I said earlier, there's no reason why Seth should have lasted any more than 3 minutes with
I agree
AOP.
with that.
So AOP is gonna start just destroying Seth Rollins in the ring. Dean's music hits, and he comes down with the other tag team title, hits the ring, stares down AOP, stares down Seth Rollins as he's on the ground, and just tosses the belt on the floor. AOP wins the tag team titles with Seth laid out. Next week we don't start off Raw. Next week, Dean comes out to the ring and says Seth has been wanting to know why did Dean do this? Why is this happening? So Dean says, Seth, all you care about is these fans and these belts. During my time away, you didn't visit me, you didn't check on me. All you were worried about was wins, losses, and belts. So for that, hold on, let me change my page here. We have Dean saying he doesn't care about the belts, he doesn't care about the people, but he does care about making Seth's life hell. No more wins for Seth, no more belts for Seth. He is challenging Seth for the belts at Survivor Series. That's my IC title booking up to Survivor Series.
Wow, I'm actually impressed, Brian.
Should be.
You actually put some thought into it. I'm actually impressed. Well done. So it's a big improvement from your last couple. So,
well, this is what happens when I actually care. So, the Universal title match. See, this one I don't really care about because I still am not a fan of this damn belt. So this one I kept pretty simple. So this week I have the same. I actually have the same thing happening with Braun chasing Corbin around. And the only thing I have a little bit different is next week, or Braun. No, I'm sorry. The only thing I have a little bit different is Braun is out here yelling at Corbin that he wants his rematch. He got screwed. Corbin obviously is going to keep saying he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't have any respect. Yada yada yada. So next week Corbin starts off Raw in the ring, surrounded by security, and actually calls out Braun Strowman. Braun hits the ring and tries to rush Corbin, but Corbin lets him know, hey, you're going to get your title match, you're going to get your rematch, but you're going to have to earn it. And the way he's going to earn it is the way he's going to earn it is in the Survivor Series match, because the person that gets the pinfall victory for Raw at Survivor Series gets a title match at the Rumble.
Interesting. So they're going to be fighting over who gets the pin.
Whoever gets the last pin for Raw is going to get the title match at the Rumble. Which I have a little bit of Survivor Series booking for that, but we'll get to that when we start booking Survivor Series.
Yeah, I mean, we can actually book Survivor Series if we wanted to, going off of this in another episode.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too much, but I had a little bit of that in there, but we'll get to that, I guess, later on.
Yep.
The Smackdown title this is where I got a little Vince Russo-ish in this one, but hey, I like it.
Wait,
SmackDown.
which title?
What? I have the Smackdown title, don't I?
The tag team titles.
Yeah, the SmackDown.
Oh,
tag team
okay.
titles.
I thought you said women. Sorry, my bad.
No. Yeah, SmackDown tag team titles.
Yep.
So this is where I get a little bit creative. So we had the Bar defeat the New Day at Crown Jewel. So this week we have the Bar defeat the Usos. The Bar gets on the mic, talks about defeating the two top tag teams on SmackDown in a row, and they want real competition for Survivor Series, whether it be from Raw or SmackDown. Lights go out, and who returns out of nowhere? The Wyatt family. You have the Wyatt family attack the Bar, lay them out, and nothing's explained. Everything, the crowd is going crazy. The announcers are going, "What's going on here? Why is Bray Wyatt on SmackDown?" Yada yada yada. We don't hear anything about it for the rest of the show. Next week on SmackDown, the Wyatts hit the ring. Bray says he knows that Survivor Series is the one time a year Raw and SmackDown go head to head, but this time Raw and SmackDown work together because blood is thicker than water. Bray challenges the Bar for the titles at Survivor Series. Again, I have another little note. I guess I can say it now because it's not really booking Survivor Series, but the way we get this match is, the announcer are going to be like, how is this going to happen? Bray's a Raw guy. These guys are SmackDown guys. So at Survivor Series, during the show, we have a backstage vignette with Paige and Corbin, and they finally come to an agreement about the match. So they're going to let the match happen, but if the Wyatts win, SmackDown keeps Bray with the titles, and if Raw wins, they get... Hold on. If Raw wins, they get the Bar... Hold on, what did I write here?
You're confusing yourself, but I understand what you're saying.
Oh yeah, if Raw wins, they get the Big Show. If the Bar wins, SmackDown gets the titles. But wait, what the hell did I write?
I don't want the Big Show. That's not a win.
What did I write here?
I don't know, but I understand what you're saying. That
Yeah,
whatever
you
team
get what I'm
loses,
saying.
whatever team loses has to go to the other show.
Go to the other show, pretty much.
I
Yeah.
got it. I got you.
Yeah, and that's how we get. And everyone's saying, how do you get their Wyatts back together? That's how we get Bray back on SmackDown with the Wyatts. Because SmackDown is going to win, or their Wyatts are going to win that match.
Wow, I actually don't mind that as far as the Wyatt family coming back. I just don't know. Like, I don't think Eric Rowan's ready yet. But I mean, we could since this is fantasy booking. Yeah, since it's fantasy booking, we'll just say that his injury's out the window and just say that he's back. But that's interesting. I like it. Good job, Brian.
Thank you. I'll wait, Tyler. A little applause or something.
I think him not saying
you
anything.
stole some of my shit, so
How would I steal it? You're 5,000 miles away.
You brought Bray back, which is what I did basically for Raw 2, but not in the same capacity, so it's
All right,
different.
Well, Ty, I'll go first. That way you can audible if you want. I'll let you go last. So I'll go into mine, and I have the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships as usual. The women's advocate that I am, and the women's mark that I am. I will obviously get this. And the only thing with this is it's kind of like all over the place as far as Raw and SmackDown, because there's things going on with both brands as far as this Raw versus SmackDown women's match. So bear with me, but it'll kind of piece itself together once I say the SmackDown stuff, because the Raw stuff, because it has SmackDown pieces of it. But again, once I say it, you'll get it. So anyways, Alexa Bliss comes out to gloat about her victory against Trish Stratus at Evolution, which is if you go back to the last How to Book, led up to Alexa still being champion and fighting Trish in a one-on-one match and getting that victory at Evolution. She says she's looking forward to the Survivor Series match against Charlotte and says the Goddess will take down the Queen. She's interrupted by Kurt Angle, who's the GM still. He comes out to say that that match will not take place, because who the hell wants to see Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte anyway? Nobody. So, that match will not take place, and in its place, there will be a 5-on-5 Women's Survivor Series match. And all women will have to qualify for this match. There will be qualifying matches for the next 2 weeks leading up to this. So this is over the next couple weeks, because including Alexa, he says. He says, Alexa, you're not exempt from qualifying. You also have to qualify for this match. So again, giving you reason to actually care, because these women actually have to fight to have a spot in this match. That... make a long story short there, Sasha Banks gets a spot by defeating Mickie James. Nia defeats Tamina. Bayley defeats Natalya, but afterwards, Natty, who is still irate after her match with Ronda Rousey, because she turned on Ronda, which was another part of my How to Book, She was irate after the match and brutally attacked Bayley, putting Bayley's spot in jeopardy for the match. So we're not sure if Bayley's going to be able to compete yet after she was brutally attacked by Natalya after this match. Afterwards, Ruby Riott defeats Alicia Fox. Shocker right there. And then the last qualifying match is Alexa Bliss versus Ember Moon. And basically, after what Alexa said about that she could beat Charlotte, so this would be probably the week after she cut that promo, Alexa's about to hit Ember Moon with the DDT for the win. And then Charlotte's music hits. But Charlotte's nowhere to be found, so Alexa's obviously distracted and saying, what the fuck's going on? And she turns around into an eclipse, and Alexa Bliss, shockingly, as the Raw Women's Champion, will not be on the Survivor Series team. So, as far as that goes, that's... GM Kurt Angle also says during that promo that he challenges SmackDown Live GM Paige. He has a challenge for her to have a best versus the best match between two deserving women, and a winner of that match will then receive a future women's title match at the Royal Rumble for their respective brand. So Kurt chooses Ronda Rousey, who is still recovering from her brutal match with Natalya at Evolution, but he assures everybody that she will be ready to go for the Survivor Series match against the SmackDown challenger. So Ronda Rousey wins this match against the SmackDown challenger, then she will get a match for the Raw Women's title at the Royal Rumble. So that leads into my SmackDown booking. GM Paige comes out to respond to Kurt Angle's challenge, and she chooses Asuka as the person to challenge Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series. So it's going to be Ronda Rousey versus Asuka at Survivor Series, and the winner of that match will get a women's championship match for their respective brand at the Royal Rumble. Charlotte then comes out with the Iconics, as the Iconics are now a part of Charlotte's stable as the heel champion, and asks, what has Asuka done to deserve this opportunity? GM Paige makes a match where Asuka and Charlotte in the main event, and if Charlotte loses, her Survivor Series spot may be in jeopardy. So Charlotte doesn't really agree with that and has to face Asuka later on in the night. During that match, the Iconics try to get involved, and Becky Lynch comes out, still all banged up from her last woman standing match against Charlotte at Evolution, where she lost to Charlotte in the double turn that I made. Charlotte then realizes that her support team is getting their ass kicked, and Asuka takes advantage, and Charlotte taps to the Asuka lock. So both champions lose in technically qualifying matches for their Survivor Series teams and not just getting handed everything. So the next week, Charlotte responds to Alexa Bliss by saying that the goddess would when she said that the goddess would defeat the queen, and Charlotte basically says she's lucky the match was called off because she would have embarrassed Alexa Bliss. And she laughed for distracting Alexa in her match against Ember Moon in her qualifying match. And she responds to Asuka by saying her match was a fluke and says Becky needs to stay out of her business. Paige comes out to announce that the Iconics will face Becky and a partner of her choosing, and the winning team will get 2 spots on the Survivor Series women's team. So going into that, Becky chooses Naomi as her partner, and they take on the Iconics later in the night. Charlotte's at ringside, and she continues to get involved behind the referee's back, giving the Iconics the upper hand. And then Alexa Bliss's music hits. So basically the same thing that happened to Alexa from Charlotte. Alexa gets Charlotte back for this one. Charlotte starts walking up the ramp because she thinks Alexa's there, leaving Becky to lock in the disarmer on Peyton Royce, and Billie Kay takes the rear view from Naomi, trying to break up the pin. And Peyton Royce taps, so Becky and Naomi get 2 of the spots on the Survivor Series women's team for SmackDown. Charlotte looks pissed by the retaliation from Alexa Bliss, but she should have saw it coming. And then lastly, GM Paige is in her office and is confronted by Absolution teammates who ask Paige when she's going to reward them with 2 spots in the SmackDown team. Paige then says she's not going to give them anything and says they will both have to earn it against each other tonight for 1 spot in the Survivor Series SmackDown team. Mandy Rose wins with a cheap roll-up victory on Sonya Deville to earn the spot in the match. Also, Zelina Vega defeats Lana. And then lastly, Charlotte goes to Paige and demands that she have another chance at the Survivor Series team, as she was screwed over by Becky the first time she tried to qualify. Paige says this is her last opportunity tonight, and it will be against a formidable opponent, the former champion Carmella. And ultimately, Charlotte is able to get the upper hand on Carmella, and with a very hard-fought match to gain the 5th and final spot on the Survivor Series women's team, leading into Survivor Series.
You lost me at Carmella losing. You had me.
I'm sorry.
That was good as hell. That was very detailed. Mine is not going to be as detailed as that. That's for sure.
I'm sorry, but I had to because there was a lot of stuff going on cross-branded,
No,
so I
it
kind
was
of had
great.
to.
It was fucking awesome.
I kind of had to make it all work there, but again, that was a mouthful. But again, if you listen to what I was trying to say, it kind of makes sense as far as the scrambled brands part goes. But again, that's why I like Survivor Series, because both brands get involved with each other and it causes conflict within it and makes you care about it. Actually having women try to actually qualify for this shit is my biggest gripe about it. So that was my how to book for the Raw and SmackDown tag or women's titles, along with that match between Asuka and Ronda Rousey for a chance at a Raw or SmackDown women's title match at the Royal Rumble. So, Ty, you can go ahead with your how to book.
All right. I guess I will start with the U.S. title. Just kind of recapping what I said on the last one. English is cutting Shinsuke's promos now. Randy Orton RKO'd Shinsuke out of nowhere after they were, talking shit about everybody, how they beat everybody. Rusev wants another shot. Almost gets him to tap, or almost gets Shinsuke to tap, and then Orton RKO's him. So this week, Rusev comes out, says he wants both Shinsuke and Orton. Shinsuke and English interrupt and say there's no damn way that's going to happen. If you guys want to do this, y'all can have a number one contendership match. Whatever. They do. They have a pretty damn good match. Basically, it looks like they're both just doing really well. You can't really decide who's going to take it at this point. And then out of nowhere, with the microphone English has and the belt, they beat the shit out of both of them, Shinsuke and English. So with that, English grabs the mic back and says, you know what, maybe we will accept. But only way we're going to accept is if you make this a no DQ match. Rusev pipes up quick and says, okay, fine, I don't give a shit, I'm going to beat the crap out of all of you guys. So he accepts it. Randy's pissed because he doesn't want a no DQ match, because that means that English is going to get involved. But he accepts it because he wants the belt. And that's basically it for the U.S. one.
That might work better for Orton anyway, since he's psychotic. He gets to use, weapons, and he can kind of manipulation like he's been doing lately. And I really like the whole English as Shinsuke's mouthpiece, because Shinsuke really needs a mouthpiece. So I think it's great.
And I think English, kind of works with that.
And as far as him turning on Rusev and going against his rival, right?
Right. For the Raw Tag Team titles, I kind of had to edit mine a little bit, but it's okay. At this point, I did not break up Dean and Seth. Dean and Seth tell the Revival, because on the last one, the Revival came up and shit. Tell the Revival they don't care what you have to say. We've got the belts, and we're the fan favorites, and we're still going to dominate like we always do. All of a sudden, Revival comes out on the big board and tells them to watch themselves, or they might just get hurt, because things happen in wrestling rings, and, they might not be the one, or they might or might not be the ones responsible for it. All of a sudden, from behind, they come and beat the shit out of Seth and Dean. As they're doing that, bam, lights go out. And Wyatt and Harper come out, and they start beating the shit out of everybody. Basically, just feeding everyone to Harper is Bray. So basically, they do all that. They leave them laying behind. Bray says, "Yeah, I'm back," or "We're back," or whatever. Doesn't say much. Essentially, that's kind of where I leave that one. But then Revival kind of grab a mic and say, if this is the way this is going to go down, we'll take you on for a number one contendership. And Bray just doesn't say anything and walks off.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the best, but I had to kind of...
You had to improvise, I get
fly.
it. Since Byron had to get under your skin again.
No, I mean, he didn't get under my skin. He kind of had the same kind of ideas I had. Just did it on the other brand, which is cool. I don't hate it.
Great minds think alike over here, I guess.
No, let's not go that far.
Mine, it was the same, but mine was just better.
Yeah, okay. So for the WWE title, as we all know, last time I basically had Joe hurt. He's been out. They had the match. Jeff Hardy turns heel. Brother Nero is now here. So, with this match, I don't even want these two to even come face to face till the Smackdown before SummerSlam. Don't even want everything's going to be vignettes. It's going to be Jeff Hardy and his mind screwing with him, kind of debating whether or not he should, he respects AJ, but then he wants to hurt him, and then he wants this and that. And it's basically all those cool vignettes that they used to run on Impact, but better because it's WWE's production team that is going to be doing it, so it's going to be a hell of a lot better. You could have a bunch of cool-ass vignettes, kind of like they used to do in the late 90s, early 2000s, where they had a bunch of the cool, or actually, hell, late 90s and about late 80s, too, they kind of did where they did a bunch of cool vignettes like that, too. Kind of do that, screw in the mind, and basically AJ is going to take 2 weeks off of TV to recover from the Joe match.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
And decides, because again, how can I miss you if you won't go away?
Mm-hmm.
And if the champion's off TV for a couple weeks, it kind of makes some intrigue to it. But essentially, I don't even want these two. AJ can come out every now and then and talk about how he is excited about the match because he knows that Jeff Hardy is blah blah blah, and he knows that he's struggling, but he knows that he'll come through and that he'll overcome Brother Nero, and they'll have a good match, and everybody will be respected, and blah blah blah. Everything's gonna be woohoo, puppies and rainbows. But AJ is very naive. He takes it very unseriously. Not unseriously, but he takes Brother Nero and the mind thing, because basically the whole vignettes will basically turn around to be he was doing all this just to fuck with AJ to make him think that he was struggling. Really, he's already been Brother Nero the whole time, and he's ready to fucking kill him. So he wants the belt. So he's trying to lure AJ into a false sense of security, essentially. And that is it.
So it's AJ and Brother Nero.
Yes.
That I like the incorporating Brother Nero, like channeling his alter ego, because I feel like Brother Nero is stronger than Jeff Hardy as far as...
Yeah, and it's basically, because like I said off the last one, I can find where I fucking wrote it down. They had the whole traditional Survivor Series 4-way for the number one contendership, and that was when Hardy turned heel and acts like he's going to help Daniel Bryan, but turns on him, etc., etc.
Yeah, and is Daniel Bryan involved in this at all?
Not right now, but I think we could see some things, because remember, Joe hasn't been on TV in a while either.
So that could be something after Survivor Series.
It's very possible.
See, that's good. There's more guys that you could just, add in afterwards. They don't have to get thrown into the same fucking feud.
And then it gives other guys the lower mid-card, and not lower mid-card, but like the mid-card guys and the guys who are fighting for belts, right, upper mid-card guys, gives them an opportunity to get on TV, work their shit too. And it brings that, like I said, I think there just needs to be a little more mystery to things, because everything's so out in the open now. So I want a little more intrigue and mystery.
Yeah, and everything's spoiled nowadays, which also doesn't help. But again,
Right.
they do tend to rush things instead of letting these slow-burning feuds, and then leaving a mystique factor, like you said, with involving more people afterwards, but not right away.
Right.
So, Hope you guys enjoyed that. That was our How to Book segment for Crown Jewel and Evolution all the way until Survivor Series, which is in 2 weeks. So we will do another one coming out of Survivor Series, maybe not the week of, but maybe we can go over what happens at Survivor Series from our How to Book on our the show after Survivor Series. We'll do that. We'll talk about what we from our How to Book here, what was the outcome of those Survivor Series matches. So we'll do kind of like a little How to Book segment, but it'll kind of just be getting you guys up to speed with what we're going to go with leading out of Survivor Series and into the road to Royal Rumble, I guess, which is going to be the mid-November until mid-January.
Yep.
with I'm sure another minor pay-per-view. I forget what the December pay-per-view is going to be. Don't really know.
TLC, isn't it?
I think it's TLC, yeah.
I think it's usually TLC. I'm not sure if they switch the schedule or...
I'm pretty sure it's still TLC.
Okay. Well, either way, whatever that pay-per-view is, we'll lead into that. But I think that's going to be it for the show, unless you guys have anything else to close with here.
Nope.
Byron, you got anything to add since you had a great How to Book segment there?
Again, Kyle, whatever Tyler says about you and NXT, I completely don't agree with.
Anyways, we're not going to start a feud with the other show. No point.
Well, it's good because I don't listen to the other show, so...
I listen to the other show. Let's give love to our brethrens over in the NXT show. Not, we don't have to love them, but we have to respect them and their opinions on NXT, and as well as our UK brethren overseas there. Craig Messy.
I was about to say, UK guy, you better stay out of this.
Yeah, Craig, stay out of this shit.
We'll have a three-way Survivor Series
I don't
match.
know how Craig doesn't get more views, though. Like, his shit and his interviews and all that, it's pretty good.
Craig is very good. We'll give a quick
shit.
shout-out to Craig Messy there. On the
That's what I'm saying. Like, he does
UK,
the interviews with those guys over there. I mean, granted, they're indie guys, but, I mean, that's still fucking cool that he's able to get these interviews. So, I mean...
I know, solid.
He should be getting a little more pop than he is. So, shout out to Craig.
Yeah, good job on Craig Messy's part. He's doing some interesting things over there on the UK show. Leaving us in the B show over here. B show, go, go, go. But, anyways, so next week will be probably some Survivor Series predictions, and as well the go-home shows for both shows. And, yeah, that'll be next week's show. But until the next time, that's going to wrap it up for the Lowdown Show right here on the No Holds Barred Network. Your source for all WWE, NXT, and UK wrestling coverage. You can listen to us live every Thursday night on Spreaker, and download the free app on all Apple and Android devices. And we're also available to listen to on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. So for all network updates, please go follow us at NHB Network and our show itself at The Lowdown Show on Twitter. And all the links will be in the description of the YouTube version of this podcast. And lastly, you can follow myself at Cappy Collects and my host at TylerJones_22 and at HeelTurn21. And until next time, I am your favorite B+ show host. As always, Mr. Corporate himself, Corporate Cappy, and I'm always joined by my co-hosts, the natural born heel, Cornette Jr., Tyler Jones, and the main roster, Maharaja Brian. And we're always here reminding you to keep it on the lowdown.
You're looking at the real deal now. Gonna kick your sorry ass out on the street. Is that what you